Good morning. My name is Kent Kim. United Nations Academic Impact Seoul Forum was just held for the very first time in Asia in August. UN Secretary General Ban Ki-moon said UNAI, centered with academic communities, will become an important catalyst for the change of the world. Today we have 4 honorable leaders in this area to contemplate how to strengthen the global initiatives and cooperation on higher academics. Let me introduce President Kim Young-gil, Chairman of Korean Council for University Education.
Good morning.
Welcome. President Michael Adams, President of International Association of University Presidents.
Good morning.
Mr. Ramu Damodaran, Chief of UN Academic Impact Initiative.
Morning.
Welcome. Professor Tzahi Milgram, Vice President of Hadassah College, Jerusalem, Israel.
Morning.
My first question is to Mr. Ramu Damodaran. The general public may be unfamiliar with UNAI. Can you introduce UNAI in detail, please?
Sure, Ken, thanks. The UNAI is about 10 months old now. It was launched at the United Nations in November last year by Secretary General Ban Ki-moon, whose personal initiative it largely is. He was really responsible in pushing it forward. He announced it first at Fairleigh Dickinson University, where President Adams invited him to speak. And since then, we followed out his instructions and came up with a plan. What it is a global alliance, a voluntary alliance of universities and institutions of higher learning that are committed to working to help the United Nations address its mandate and challenges. When he opened the forum, the Secretary General made it very clear that governments no longer can solve problems alone, which means the United Nations cannot do it alone. It needs the support of new partners, particularly the academic community. Today, we have almost 700 members in 104 countries. We have more than 50 members from the Republic of Korea, and they range in their disciplines from the humanities to the sciences, public health, engineering, architecture, arts, music. So it's become very clear that there's absolutely no area of scholarship or human endeavor which cannot affect the United Nations or the lives of people around the world. And I think once we realize that, then anything that a university or an institution does makes a difference for people either immediately in their own surroundings or completely separate geographically.
Wow. This is very impressive. This is taking a whole new step.
Absolutely, and I think what's really remarkable is that it's brought together university leadership like President Kim and President Adams, faculty like Dr. Milgram, as well as students. Everyone is enthused and energetic. In fact, we have a whole students' offshoot movement called Aspire, action by students to promote innovation and reform through education. And I'm very heartened that the most dynamic chapter of Aspire is right here in Korea at Handong Global University.
Wow. President Kim, what is the significance of UNAI Seoul Forum in particular?
Yes, significance of UNAI is the reducing gap between developing country through education, not giving just the money or capital. And education actually changing our mindset. Mindset, they change action. And action can change our neighbors, then societies, then whole world. So significance of UNAI is the changing the world, hunger, poverty, all problem through education. This is very different from traditional method of helping developing countries. In the past, we usually gave a grant, loan, unconditional. Then, after having they'll ask more. I think the Secretary Ban Ki-moon's idea is the changing the world and solve all global problems through education. So the UN have a Millennium Development Goal, and it's called MDG, MDG can be solved through education, through elementary and higher education. So UNAI actually using university potential of the academic potential and vision and through action. So that can change the world. This is the significance of the UNAI.
So through education, it's about instilling attitude and confidence.
Yeah, right, right.
President Adams, the need for international cooperation on higher education is acknowledged all over the world. What is the background for this globalization of universities?
Kent, we're at a very unique time in human history. If you look at the origins of the university and their function, the first university was founded in Bologna around 800 years ago. And the function of the university was to transmit knowledge and to transmit civilization. And that was a time when change was very slow. In fact, you rarely noticed any change from one generation to the next. What's unique about this time is change has accelerated. Even in this last decade, the world has changed so radically because of technology, communications, transportation, that it's almost unrecognizable to some of us. A decade ago, social networking was the ability to talk glibly at a party. It has a completely different definition today. Universities understand that our traditional role of transmitting knowledge and civilization has changed because the world has gotten smaller, it has gotten more complex, and more interrelated. And therefore, a new role universities understand is that we really got to help us understand each other, to help our students communicate in ways that are contemporary and reflect the reality of the world we're in. It's a new responsibility that we are coming to acknowledge.
So the colleges and universities must change as well. That's the point.
And that's a challenge, too. Great challenge.
Professor Milgram, why does the United Nations want to involve the academic community?
I can hardly answer for the United Nations, but I can say as an institute that we believe that every institute must have international connections and collaboration